Adam Rose, and I'm a lawyer based in London. In terms of my volunteering journey, I guess I first got involved in ZY as a teenager, and I was involved in helping run the local group. And then at university, I got involved in the Soviet Jewry movement at the time in the 1980s, and then got encouraged to go to UJS conference. I somehow found myself becoming editor of the UJS monthly magazine Alef. I ended up editing Alef for a year. After UJS, I went to law school and I got more involved again in Soviet Jewry work and became chair of a charity called the Student and Academic Campaign for Soviet Jewry, SACSJ. I ran that for 2 or 3 years as chair of the board of that. I was probably 23, 24 at the time. And in fact, during that year, one of our UK campaign workers decided that he was going to go off and set up a Jewish youth centre in St. Petersburg. And then the next year, we recruited a guy in Kiev to run a Jewish youth centre. I was also involved at the time running in parallel to UJS for recent graduates called Fudges, Friends of UJS. And that was to provide a JSOC type environment for recent graduates who otherwise found there was nothing else structured for them to do. And then I realized around that time I'd been very frustrated that people in their 30s seemed to vanish from doing anything in the Jewish community. We had 2 children around that time, and I realized that's why people in their 30s who had 2 small children stopped volunteering. I stayed out of things for a while and then got invited to become a trustee of the Jewish Youth Fund, which gives money for Jewish youth activities, being able to allocate grants every 6 months to Jewish youth organizations, ranging from Jewish Scouts to very frum organizations in Stamford Hill to mainstream Jewish and Zionist youth movements. And I've been a trustee of that for 20-something years, I think now. I then also became a trustee of UJS. I'd been doing quite a lot of pro bono legal advice for Jewish students and for UJS. And we decided it was better that I was in the trustee room rather than only finding out about things later. So I got involved with UJS and have been quite heavily involved in a number of the on-campus anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism things that have been going on, helping various Jewish students with issues they've had with their universities. I also became a trustee of Masorti Judaism around the time, and that's given me an opportunity to be involved in a different type of charity. And also, I became a trustee of what was called JCOR, the Jewish Council for Racial Equality, and I went on to become the chair of that. I also had been in touch with an American charity called HIAS, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, which had become a major refugee welfare charity in the States. I'd come across them during my time at JCOR, and what happened was over the next 2 years, we effectively merged the 2 charities. So HIAS JCOR was born, and then I stepped down. And then 7th of October happened.